we are doing one of my favorite experiments with one of my favorite things. We are going to do a whole bunch of experiments with bubbles.
So cool.
I know, right? Like, I know that when I see bubbles, it makes me automatically happy. Like, they are just the most fun things ever. So today we're going to learn how to make bubbles. We're going to learn how to blow bubbles with things that are not a bubble wand. And we're just going to have a lot of fun. So I don't know. I didn't come so prepared today. So I don't have so much bubble solution here to use. So I don't know about you guys. Does everyone have bubbles like in their house ready to go?
No, I don't.
So we're going to start with an experiment because I'm curious. There's a lot of different ways that you can make bubbles, but when we make bubbles, we want them to be like very bubbly, right? Like it's no fun to have bubbles and you blow into your wand and then nothing comes out. So we are going to test a bunch of different materials to see which mixture is going to give us the best bubble. Okay? So we are going to start. Everyone can see? Okay. We are going to start by putting everything in clear cups.
Right.
I'll move it so that way everyone can see.
Can everyone see Toby? I think I'm sharing.
You could do soap and water to make bubbles.
Can everybody see my tray?
Toby,
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
You're positive. That's a bandit.
So what we're gonna do in all these cups, we are going to put a mixture of vinegar and baking soda. Okay? But then in some cups, we're gonna add some dish soap to see if that makes it more bubbly than just using vinegar and baking soda. We're gonna add some seltzer to see if that makes it more bubbly than just vinegar and baking soda. We're gonna add milk to see if that makes it bubbly. And then we are going to add Gatorade to see if Gatorade will be what just does it and makes our bubbles.
Guys, I can't hear. So many people are talking at once.
I couldn't. Can you go slower, please?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go slower as we are going through each of the cups. I will definitely go slower. For right now, I'm going to mute everybody. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Just we want to make sure everyone can hear. Got it? Okay. All right. So the first one that we are going to test is we are going to test a plain mixture of vinegar. We use vinegar a lot in science. Vinegar and baking soda. Okay? So our first cup, we are only going to mix together vinegar and baking soda. And in the very first cup, we're going to put the same amount of vinegar and baking soda. So I'm going to put in half a cup of vinegar and half a cup of baking soda. Okay? Rachel, could we put a poll up of 1 to 5? Okay. So once I pour in, first I'm going to pour in the vinegar. And then once I pour in the baking soda, hopefully we will start to see our bubbles start to bubble over. And I want everyone to vote on their screen if they think that this mixture is like 1, like not so bubbly, or a 5, to a scale of 5. So like 1 is like bubbles, and 5 is like the most bubbles I've ever seen. okay? And we're gonna see which ones you guys vote as being the most bubbly way to make, okay? So can everyone see my cup? Okay, so I am going to add in the baking soda, and we are gonna watch closely and see how bubbly this is. Whoa, All right, guys. 1, if you thought that was like bubbly. 2, if it was like, all right, this is a little bit bubbly. 3, if it's like, that's pretty cool. And up to 5, if you're like, that's the most bubbly we've ever seen. Those are the bubbles I want to play with.
Can you try it again?
What?
Can you do it again?
So I'm not going to do it again because we have we're going to try it with other things. This was just the first one. In the first one,
I couldn't see it.
in the first one, we only mixed together vinegar and baking soda, okay? So that was what happened. When we only mix vinegar and baking soda, this is what comes out, okay? Who's ready to try the next one? Let's see if this is good. That's like a really tough one to beat. Like, that was a pretty good first bubble shot. Woo. Okay. So we are going to pour in each cup is going to get vinegar, baking soda, but then each cup is going to get a little something different. So this cup is going to get some yellow Gatorade. So let's see if the yellow Gatorade makes our bubble mixture more or less bubbly than the first one. So I'm going to pour in the Gatorade first. And then I'm going to pour in our baking soda. Oh, this one was yellow. That was pretty cool. All right, what'd you think? Do we think that that was more bubbly than the first one or less bubbly than the first one? I don't know. You think it's more, Abby?
I thought it was about the same, maybe a little less.
So maybe it was a little less. I don't know. I kind of thought the first one was a little bit better. Let's see. We got to keep going. We still have more things to test. Okay. Next, we are going to pour in. We're going to add bubbles to the bubble mixture and see if that makes the vinegar and baking soda more bubbly than regular. So we're adding in the vinegar. Okay, we're adding in the vinegar. Then we're going to add in some dish soap. And then finally, the secret ingredient, we got some baking soda. All right.
There it goes.
What do you guys think? It's bubbling. I don't know. This one, which one do you guys think so far was the most bubbly? Show us with your fingers. Number 1, number 2, or number 3? I see a lot of number 2s. Got some number 3s. I don't know. I'm still sticking with number 1. Okay, so Rachel, you agree with me? Thanks. All right, it's still bubbling. So this one is lasting a long time, but it's not as big of a bubble at first. Okay. Number 3. How about milk? You guys think that milk is going to be the secret ingredient to make it bubble? We got to see. Who would have thought Gatorade? Okay, so I'm going to pour in my vinegar like we start with. Then I'm going to, see, this one's even bubbling. I haven't even added anything yet. Everything's just getting mixed up, crazy science. Then I'm gonna add in the milk. It's fresh, not spoiled, in case anyone wants to try it at home. Make sure you're using fresh milk. And then we are gonna add in our baking soda.
Whoa.
Who knew milk was so bubbly? Pretty cool. You know what this kind of looks like? This kind of looks like, anyone ever get a fountain soda and you fill it to the top and the bubbles go over?
Yeah.
This definitely looks like fountain soda. So it might not be the biggest bubble, but it's definitely cool. And last, but
I have
definitely
a quick
not least,
question.
what?
I have a quick question.
Shoot.
If you use spoiled milk, would it have the same effect?
Say it again.
If you use spoiled milk.
I don't know. I don't have any spoiled milk, but if you want to test it for next week, let us know.
Okay.
And let us know if there's a difference between the spoiled milk and the regular milk.
I keep on
Also,
wondering-
you can see if there's a difference between like chocolate milk and regular milk, or soy milk and regular milk.
Or
I think I have a lot of different types of milks at home.
Okay, listen, again, if you guys do any of the experiments that we've done in the other weeks, let us know the next week how it went. We want to see your pictures posted on Facebook. We want to see you emailing us at newyorkyachad@ou.org. We want to see your real life science experiments. Okay, last but not least, we're pouring in our vinegar. Remember, every cup has vinegar and baking soda. So we're gonna pour in the vinegar, which is clearly at this point mixed with a million other things. Ooh, we're not adding that in yet. Our last one that we're gonna add in is seltzer. Seltzer. So let's see if the fizzy, bubbly seltzer is what's going to be our biggest bubble producer. So we're gonna pour in some seltzer. Woo! Well, who knows? Maybe my seltzer is gonna explode with bubbles first. Okay, pouring it in, adding in the baking soda, and let's see what happens. Not too bad. We definitely got some bubbles. Okay, Rachel, can you poll me while I see if anybody has any questions? I want to see everybody's vote about which one they thought made the biggest bubbles. So you can vote for just the vinegar and baking soda. You can vote for the Gatorade. You can vote for the milk. You can vote for the dish soap, or you can vote for the seltzer. Okay? So again, just the vinegar and baking soda. Then next we did Gatorade. Then we did dish soap. Then we did milk. Then we did seltzer. So I want to see which one you guys think we should make our next batch of bubbles with. And while you guys vote, let's see if you guys could raise your hands, either in real life or Zoom hands. And let's see if anybody has any questions before we see what Dr. Bennett wants to show us today. Rachel, see anyone? If you have a question, you can also unmute yourself if we're not seeing you.
Sivan has a question. Sivan, you can unmute yourself.
Well, it wasn't a question, but every time you mentioned about the thing going over, I kept on trying to put up my hand and call it a volcano in the chat.
And catch it?
Like a volcano, like it's over, exploding slowly.
I know, they're very cool. Listen, you guys can try this if you want to make paper mache volcanoes. Now you know some things that you can put inside to make the
Mentos
volcano.
and soda could work.
Say it again?
Mentos and soda.
That's true. Mentos, but I figured that a bunch of people have already done that before, and the bubbles
Sure, yes.
it was a little bit cooler this week. Maybe we'll do Mentos and soda next week for our
No,
awesome next
do
week.
something better than that.
We have a lot better than that for next week. Don't worry. Rafa, you have a question?
I think I voted for the milk, and that was the most bubbly.
Oh, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Anybody else have any questions?
Shosh has a question.
Okay, cool.
So I like the bubbly. The bubbly is, I like the seltzer. I like the seltzer is to pour the milk or something. It makes more bubbly. It's really, really cool bubbly.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, would you guys
Yeah,
ever
it's cool.
think that like Gatorade and milk would make
Yeah,
bubbles?
getting milk, yeah. Are you be able to drink it or no?
Oh, I definitely don't want to drink it.
No, you don't want to drink that.
Vinegar
It's
and milk.
gross.
That it just I feel like it tastes bad. All right, let's take one more question, and then we're also going to do questions at the end. Shane, is that your hand up?
Yeah, shake it.
I have my hand up. I think it's this.
Wait, hold on. I called. Shane had her hand up, and I called on her. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I voted for the milk also.
Oh, cool. Whoever, I didn't get to see who was talking, but whoever was just talking, do you want to be our real last comment?
I got one. I think it was the milk.
You think it was the milk? Listen, I still think that it was the vinegar and baking soda. Rachel, you with me?
I'm kind of between the vinegar and baking soda and the dish soap. Even though it has no votes here, it did last the longest. So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, listen, you guys, if we share the results, seltzer definitely won. You guys think the seltzer had the biggest reaction? Dr. Bennett, what did you think?
I like the milk.
You like the milk?
I like the milk. And you know what I would like to try?
Yeah, what do you have for us with some bubbles?
Well, I've got some bubbles. Okay, let me start to share. Can everybody see me?
I see you.
Yeah, I see.
You all see me?
Yep.
How's everybody doing this week? So what I have is I have a couple of experiments also about making bubbles. Okay? And I'm going to do one. It's very old topic that I used to do this one when I was a little boy, and I used to get into trouble doing it with my father, because I would take my soda and with a straw, and I would blow into it, and I would make bubbles, and it would go all over the table. So
I feel like I used to do that when I was little.
yeah, but this was one that I used to like to do.
Time out. I mean, you get told by Toby's grandfather and doesn't great grandfather. So why want to get in trouble because you want to bubbles and soda?
Because I would make a mess, because the bubbles would go all over everything. So let me show you a couple of things. I mean, most of you are used to using something like this, like a wand, and putting it into soapy water, right? And then waving it. I'm not very good at it today. There we go. Can we see the bubbles? All right, anyway, I'm making bubbles like this. Well, what I did, let me show you one that's kind of simple and fun. I'm gonna stand up, it's just easier, okay? And this is just water. And this is like if I was gonna wash my hands, right? And I'm gonna take just a little bit of soap.
What kind of soap?
Well, right now I'm using dish soap, but hand soap would work also. And I'm just rubbing it like, right, like we're supposed to wash our hands, okay? And put it back in water. And I'm gonna do it until you can see I'm starting to get a little bubbles on my hand. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do it now. I'm just making a fist. And I'm able to blow bubbles with just using my hands.
Whoa!
Let's try, we'll rub it a little bit more. And let's see if we can, a little hard, let's see. Can you see the bubbles?
Oh, I think I want pop before I got a chance to come
Yeah,
out.
let me just do it this way. There you go. Everyone see, oh,
Oh,
Dr. Banner, I have a question.
yes.
How you do it in your hand?
How do I do it in my hand?
yeah, what's
So,
your magic? Or what's your science?
well, what it is a bubble. In this case, a bubble is basically the soap with air pushed into it. So what I do is just have the soap in my hand, and the air is coming from me blowing very gently. And that's what a bubble is. In this case, it's soap with a little bit of air pushed into it, okay?
So it's just soap that you made the bubbles with?
That's all I used. It was just having my wet hands and a little bit of, let me see if I can show you. I just had a little dish soap, and that's all I needed. Well, I took off all this soap from my hands, but that's what it is. Okay?
That's awesome.
So next time you wash your hands and you have a little bit of soap on them, just make a fist and then open it up a little bit. See? And then just put it and blow out very gently, and you should be able to make your own bubbles.
Well, wait, Dr. Bennett. If
Yes.
we're washing our hands and then we put our hand in our mouth, shouldn't we have to hand wash again after that for proper hand washing safety?
Yes, you have to. But if you just want to have a little bit of fun in between.
You know, it's safety first in science. So
Yes, it is. And if you put your hands to your mouth, you got to wash them again. But you can do it a little bit if you're taking a bath or you're washing your hands and you have some soap on your hand. Just make a fist, open it up a little bit, and then very gently blow through and see if you can make bubbles. Okay? Now, what I have here now is a bubbler that I made. And this is very simple. You can also make this at home. Take my mouse out of the way so I don't get messy. And what I have in here, it's a mixture of water and dish soap. Well, everything I'm doing today has just water and dish soap. And to this one, I added a little bit of sugar. And what we're going to see is that the bubbles are going to look a little bit different. Okay? And I'm going to just blow into the straw. And you can see we got a lot of very tiny bubbles that all stick together and is very, very easy to work with. And I can pick them up and put them on my finger.
Can you throw them up and catch them?
Let's see, can I throw them up? Not with these right now. I may have another one to do with this, but we can do is we can go in here and just blow again. We can make a little waterfall, and we can pick them up with our hand, and we can turn them upside down, and they'll stick to our fingers. And you can see that these bubbles, because they have a little bit of sugar in the water, will stay around a lot longer, and we'll let you play with them.
Dr. Bennett, we have some questions in the audience. Are you ready
Yes.
to take some questions? Okay. Shosh,
Yeah.
Your question.
My question.
Yeah.
So I like. Can I go? You know the cup has a straw in it, and you bubble it. How does it come from?
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said. What do you want to know about the bubbler?
Yeah, the bubbler that you had before.
Right
when
here?
You put that. So how do you exactly do it on the bubbling thing?
What I did was in the cup, I put in
That's
some
in a
water,
cup, yeah.
water and dish soap and some sugar.
Okay, yeah.
And then in this case, I covered it with some aluminum foil, but you don't have to.
Okay.
I can just leave it in the cup and blow it like this.
I got a question.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. I love it. So cool. Thanks for
We just want to remind everyone that we will be sending out the links to all of these experiments. They'll be posted on the Yachad New York Facebook group. They'll be posted on the Yachad On Demand page. And they will also be available if you email yachadnewyork@ou.org. So we will say all of that again. But if you have questions about exactly how we're doing something, we will make sure that everybody leaves today with the instructions that they can do all of these at home. Okay?
Yeah, I just have a question.
Hold on. I'm going down in order. David, what's your question?
My question is about the
Sorry, David Orlansky.
How did you manage to blow bubbles out of a cup?
How did I get bubbles out of the cup?
Yeah.
Besides a little magic?
Hmm?
The bubbles out of the cup, what I did was I put in some water. Let's see if you can, well, it's hard to see with all the bubbles still there. But what I did is I just took a cup and I put in some water, and then I put in some dish soap, and then I took just some regular sugar and poured it in and let it mix. And then I put a straw in and blew into it. And that gave me all the bubbles.
Cool. Okay.
Pretty cool?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Wait, Moshe.
Hi.
Question.
What kind of cup do you use it?
Say it again, Moshe.
What kind of cup?
Wait,
what
Moshe,
kind of
can you move
soap?
closer and say it one more time?
What kind of cup do you use?
What is your question? What kind of soap do you use?
What kind of cup? Why there's 3 cups on this table and that table too?
Because we need a lot of cups to do the experiments. We started out the first experiment with 5 of them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a lot going on. All right, let me see. Anybody else have a question? Oh, hold on. Wait. Max.
Hi.
What's going on?
Question for you, Dr. Bennett.
Yes.
How did you make the use the dish soap? When did you learn to do that? To make a bubble?
What I did was last night to get ready to be with you today, I mixed up the water and the dish soap and the sugar all together and then just left it inside the cup.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then I saw one more question. Sivan.
I was just curious, how much does it matter how much you put in of different properties? Because depending, like for baking and science experiments, sometimes the order is necessary and the amount is also. Does this one is needed, the amount? Like
that's a very, very good question. With this, it doesn't matter what order you put it in, because sometimes, as you say, in cooking, you have to do it in a certain order. But with the water and the soap and the sugar, you don't have to. Now, the other question that you were asking was how much of each one do I put in?
Mhm.
And you know what? I don't know the answer. Remember last week we talked about that sometimes just because you've been doing science for a long time, you don't always have all the answers. And what you can do is do an experiment. And maybe, if maybe we'll suggest this to Toby, maybe another week, we can come back and we can make the bubblers and put in different amount of soap and different amounts of the sugar and see if we can see any difference between them. Maybe that'd be what do you think about that for an experiment?
All right, we have the next few weeks going. I hope everyone's coming back next week and the week after, because it's just gonna keep getting better and better.
But that was a very good question because you saw something and you said, well, what happened if I change it a little bit? And that's what an experiment is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Bennett.
All right, I got one more for you.
All right, let's see. Is this gonna take the bubble cake or is this gonna make a bubble cake?
Well, let's see if I can do this. Well, this is just the same thing. It's a soapy water and with a straw. Now, if you see, if I do this, oh, let me see if I can do this. I have to stand up maybe. Oh, you see, the bubble breaks when it hits my hand because my hand is dry. I wanted to show you something. I'm just gonna put some water on it. Okay, and now you can see now my hand is wet. And if I blow a bubble and it lands on my hand, now it stays there for a longer period of time. Did everyone see that?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why you put bubble with a straw?
Well, I'm sorry, what did you ask?
Why you blow a straw?
Oh, why am I blowing through straw?
Yeah.
Because I have soapy water at the end, and that lets me blow the bubbles. You know, sometimes when you buy a bottle of bubbles, you get like a stick and you blow through it. Well, you can also do it by just using a straw and soapy water. All right, let me show you one last experiment now. And what I'm going to do is put some of my soapy water, right? That's the water with the soap and the sugar. And I'm just spreading it around on the baking tin. And now I'm just going to blow. And you see, I made a bubble. Now, what happens when you put like a stick or something sharp into a bubble? Right? So if I take like a needle, it pops, right? But watch this. Okay, you see the bubble? Now I'm going to take the straw and I can put the straw right through the bubble and the bubble does not pop. You see that? Do you remember when we did something like that with the balloon?
I do.
You remember we had a balloon and I put a stick through it and it didn't pop? Well, now I can also do that with a bubble. And you can watch this now. Ready? I just blew. Can you see that? Whoops, there we went. See, we had a bubble inside of a bubble. Let's see if we can do it again. No, let me start. There's one bubble. Oh, I get it. There's one bubble. We'll put the straw in the bubble without breaking it. There's a second bubble. We made a third bubble. So we can blow a bubble inside a bubble inside a bubble.
Can you make a bubble Mickey?
A bubble Mickey?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We've got the face, the two ears. What else do we need?
Nose, mouth.
I don't know if I can blow a bubble on top of a bubble. Let me see. No. No, I can't do that. I can't blow a bubble on top of a bubble. But as long as this is wet, and I just take it and I blow a bubble. And you want to know something else about bubbles? What shape is this?
A circle.
Right. A bubble will always be like this, will always be in the shape. If it's a single bubble, it'll always be a perfect circle.
I have a question.
Yes?
How did you make that circle out of a bubble? How did you do that?
Well, a bubble will always be a circle. Well,
Yeah, but this kind of circle, and then it just
there I just pop with this.
yeah.
What happens is, because it's on the flat surface, the bottom stays flat like the bottom of the baking pan, and then the bubble becomes, they call that a dome. It's like a half of a bubble.
Half of a bubble, I see.
Right? But it's always in the shape of a circle.
Dr. Bennett,
Yeah?
Bracha has a question.
Yes, Bracha?
So basically, when you use the dish soap
Yes.
on a yellow cup, how do you make with your when you have the dish soap?
Yes.
How do you do that with your hands and make blow and blow with it at the same time?
You want me to show you that again?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you asked so nicely, I will do it for you again.
Guys, if you think that you can make a bigger bubble than Dr. Bennett, have someone take a picture of you trying and make
Yeah,
sure.
I like it. Okay, so what we're gonna do, right? This is like your sink. It's a bowl of water. And I put my hands in there. I made them wet. And this is just a little dish soap. And you see, I'm just pouring a little bit on my hands. Okay, and can you see that some little bubbles are starting to form?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit off by dipping it in water. Just so I get a little bit, you can feel it's just a little slimy, a little slippery. And what I'm going to do is I showed you. You take your hand, roll it together, open it up so there's a space, right? And then just blow very gently.
Whoa. That's cool.
You like that?
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Moshe, you have a question?
Yeah. Why have a silver bowl and a silver cup for what?
I like silver.
Oh, silver. Hey, I know, why have, sugar, uh, sugar, idea, put that in there.
Yeah, so when you put a little bit of sugar in, it makes the bubbles a little more, makes them easier to handle.
Oh, like you put sugar and tea, make the water very sweet.
Right, but if I put the sugar in here now, right? And now, because the bubbles are a little bit more sturdy, I can sit and put them on my hand, and I can turn them upside down, and I can play with the bubbles because they won't break as easily.
Oh,
Okay? Because sometimes, you know, when you touch a bubble, it breaks very easily.
yes.
Well, by putting in a little bit of sugar,
Yeah.
it makes them a little bit harder to break.
Yeah.
See if I can do. I was doing this the other day.
How long is this gonna be before?
We're gonna take a few more questions.
Right, that's my last experiment for today.
We're gonna take a few more questions. Then we're gonna say, see you next week, fellow scientists. And I'm trying to decide, do you guys like it when it's a surprise, or should we tell you what we're planning for next week?
Let's plan.
You want to plan it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to tell you exactly what we're doing, but next week, all of our science experiments are going to be edible, which means you're going to be able